So today we'll be talking about the voting system. And I know we've heard so much about it over the past couple of weeks, and even more importantly over the next upcoming few weeks on how important our vote is. But let's get to why we vote, how we vote, what does our vote mean, and how it's counted. Let's start by informing about the standard requirements an individual must have in order to officially run for office. According to the U.S. government, these three basic requirements are that the presidential candidate is a natural-born citizen, at least 35 years old, and has maintained U.S. residency for at least 14 years. In addition, under the American political system, general presidential elections are held every 4 years. Step 1 in the election process is primaries and caucuses. At this point, there are numerous individuals who are vying for the presidential seat, each individual holding their own ideas and opinions on how the government should work. Those individuals with similar ideas usually belong to the same political party, and this is the exact point where primaries and caucuses come into play. As they aim to receive the favor of their party members, these individuals will campaign around the country and compete against each other for their party's nomination. In caucuses, the various party members meet with one another, discuss their options on candidates, and vote for who they think would be the best individual to represent the party. While in primaries, party members vote in a state election for the candidate they want to represent them in the general election. Step 2 are the national conventions. After the primaries and caucuses, each major party holds a national convention to select the final presidential nominee. Additionally, at the conventions, the party's presidential nominee announces their official choice for a running mate, also known as their vice president. Once this announcement is made, the next step for the candidates is to campaign throughout the country in order to win the support of the general public. Moreover, this is where individuals will see the numerous political ads on the television in favor of one presidential candidate and against the other, as well as the televised debates between Republican and Democratic presidential and vice presidential candidates. Step 3 is our general election. At this point, people in each state rush to the polls and cast their votes. When an individual casts their vote, they are actually selecting for a group of people known as electors. Now, this is the part where most individuals become confused. So an elector is a member of the Electoral College, and in the Electoral College system, each state gets a specific number of electors based on its representation in Congress. Each elector then casts one vote following the general election, and the candidate who receives more than half of the votes wins the election. The vote needed to win the presidential election is at least 270 out of the 538 available electoral votes. Once the votes are collected, the newly elected president and vice president are announced. So this was a quick overview of what we've been experiencing for the past several months. What I want to focus on is the state that we're in right now, which is casting our vote, which is the final process. It is so extremely important for you to let your voice be heard and to be sure that you go to the polls or you mail in your ballot and you vote. That it doesn't matter who your candidate is. It doesn't matter if you're unsure. It doesn't matter if you don't vote for every single position. But it is important to be sure that you go, you cast your ballot, you let your voice be heard, and that you do your basic duty as a citizen of this country. For those of you, particularly our students who reside here on the Hickory campus and who have registered to vote here with your address here in Hickory, if you want to do early voting, which is October 15th through October 31st, please just go to the Highland Rec Center, which is just a mile or so from campus. You can go there, vote. If you did not register to vote, you can do one-stop registration and voting, where you can register to vote there during early voting as well as vote all in the same day. So again, no excuse. For those of you, again, who use your Hickory address to vote and want to wait until election day, which is completely okay. It's November 3rd, which is a Tuesday, and your voting precinct is St. Andrew's Church, which is a few hundred yards from campus, so you can definitely walk there. It's just a church located right across the street from the library, and you can cast your ballot there. So we are just really excited and happy about the participation that we've had in our voter registration drives on campus. We are looking forward to seeing what happens, right? Again, regardless of who we vote for, just the pride that you'll have in knowing that you did your part to affect the outcome of this election and the trajectory of our country for the next 4 years. So if you have any questions about registering to vote, about voting, about your voting precincts, please come by my office located on the second floor of the Cromer Center, and we look forward to seeing you soon.